My boy celebrating his birthday on
Episode
the live.
celebrating the birthday on the live. Man, I need some liquor, but so episode 18. This week we're gonna be talking about learning from failure, and we've talked about failure in the past and various different aspects of it, but to dedicate an entire episode to it and how we like cope with it and deal with it and how it's actually beneficial. Like, a lot of people are scared to fail and look at it as a negative, but it's really not a negative. If you approach it the right way, it could be a very positive thing. But yeah, so episode 18, learning from failure. What's good with you, Kat? Welcome. So yeah, it's your boy E Double.
Yeah. Serge Glavelle and learning from failure. Learning from failure. Good topic, man. Great topic to talk about.
Appreciate you, Kat.
A lot of things to contextualize as it relates to failure, dealing with failure. Man, because failure can be in so many different areas, bro. You can look at failure in marriages, failure in business, failure in goals and all the other types of stuff, man. So
Fitness,
really,
you know what I mean? Health,
really,
whatever.
yeah, health, and man, it's the list. The list goes on and on with failure. But like you said, man, it's just the way that you approach it, the way that you approach failure, the way that you look at it, the way that you learn from it, the risk that you're willing to take.
Thank you, Ashley.
The things that you're willing to do, just to make it right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, let's get it started, dog. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too, man. Real good topic. So shit, what's failure, said?
What's failure? Like you said, man, failure is a benchmark to success. Interesting thing I saw just recently on Eric Thomas Instagram page, and he was basically talking about, to be a champion, you're gonna have to take a couple of L's, right? Like, you're gonna have to take a couple losses to understand how to win. Like, you're gonna have to experience some adversity in order to be able to use that as an advantage. And that really kind of resonated with me, because it's like a lot of times, when you're winning so much and you get accustomed to winning, in many cases that drive is just not there anymore. Like your willingness to take risk, put in the extra effort to learn, to really fully assess the situation, to go above and beyond. A lot of times when you win so often, that same drive and that same hunger just isn't there. You know what I'm saying? But when you take a couple L's, I feel like that really makes you hungry. Like that gives you the fuel, that gives you the endurance, you know what I'm saying, to really just persevere, to keep trying, to keep going at it, no matter what the obstacles bring, no matter what the challenges may be. But like you continue to go at it. But yeah, man, understanding that
push yourself, really.
Push yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, bro, like, failure doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's a benchmark to success, and it enables you to effectively navigate through peaks and valleys that all achievements require. You know what I'm saying? And when you learn from failure, you are more equipped with the tools to build out your vision. So anything that you do as it pertains to achieving something, there's always going to be peaks. There's always going to be valleys. There's always going to be certain things that you have to experience and go through. But learning from those things just gives you the ability to contextualize your story. But when you hop into things, right, and you're learning, like you always say, bro, it gives you the opportunity to fail fast. And when you fail fast, it's all about embracing that process. And the quicker that you embrace the process, the faster you can realize your potential and explore more possibilities. So at the end of the day, man, what's failure? Failure is just the benchmark to success. It's something that should fuel you, not make you fearful, something that you should embrace openly, and really just kind of look at it from many different aspects. And then failure gives you endurance, because when you're challenged with so many different things. And when you have to experience so many different things, it builds your endurance. It allows you to have that longevity because, you know, when you're learning, you're familiarizing yourself. Like you're gaining the knowledge, you're gaining the insight, you're gaining all the details that you need in order to continue to press forward. And then obviously, like I always say, with everything that you learn, you know, now you have the ability to share. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you start being beneficial. When you take what you know and you share it with other people, man, and that's what allows, you know, everybody to grow. That's what allows those experiences that you go through to be well worth it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, failure. That's what failure is to me. And I think that really just gives you the best kind of definition of how we both kind of, you know what I'm saying, look at failure.
Yeah, and it's really all about mind state. You know what I mean? Because you can look at it and, you know, it can be devastating. It can, you know, be you know, kill your drive, kill your motivation. You know, a lot of people look for excuses to why they can't do something, you know, and or you can do the opposite of that and use it as motivation, use it as fuel, use it as like you say, a benchmark, you know, take the data, analyze it, see where you messed up at, where you can improve, see areas where you did well, right? And really that brings us to the next segment of what does failing bring, right? And at the end of the day, what it brings is opportunity, you know, like, and that's another way to look at it. So like, it's not a failure, it's an opportunity to improve and do better next time. So there's three pillars here that, you know, I mean, we kind of want to touch on. So what does it bring? It brings 3 R's: results, reason, and route. So results, you have data to go by. So obviously when you failed at something, right? Something didn't go right. So failure presents an opportunity to learn and collect data on what went wrong. So it allows you to kind of reanalyze. So we'll just use an example of business. Say you open up, I don't know, a bakery, and you specialize in cakes, right? So say
Nothing but cakes. You specialize
nothing
in
but
bundt
cakes,
cakes.
right? And that's probably why cakes was on my mind, because I had some of them earlier, right? But so say you specialize in cakes, and say, you know, you the best baker, you know, you got family recipes from generations, everybody loves them, you know you can bake your ass off. That's what you do, you're good at. But you just weren't getting the foot traffic, you weren't generating enough business. So, you know, you go back to the drawing board, like, okay, well, before we opened up shop, did I do my due diligence from like a marketing standpoint? You know what I'm saying? Like, just analyze specifically, you know, where you failed and where the opportunities were. So, you know, collect that data. And then along with that, there are lessons to be learned from some of the things you did correctly, right? So whenever you did get a customer, were they like a return customer? You know, were they satisfied with the product, or did they provide you any feedback, you know, that you were able to incorporate, you know, that made for a better product, you know? So there's also lessons, positive things to take away from the failure, because it's very rare that you fail in every aspect of something. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that you did well that you can learn from, as well as the things that you didn't do so well, where you can correct course and improve on them. The second part, reasons. You have details to assess, right? So acknowledging the failure is one part, and that's hard for a lot of people to do. Sometimes it's hard for people to chuck up their losses and acknowledge the fact that they failed. They live in denial and continue to try to fight through it. And at the end of the day, that kind of really puts you in a worse situation, because the longer it takes for you to acknowledge it, the longer it is for you to move forward. Like when people say, you know, if you can't admit that you're wrong, you know, then you can't like learn from the mistake, you know, and move on. And it's kind of like the same with like acknowledging failure. Like, if it's not working out, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results is literally the definition of insanity, right? So you have to acknowledge the failure, but not only is acknowledging the failure part of the growth process, you also must go over the details and determine where it went wrong and not repeat those actions. And again, I spoke about that kind of in results with like analyzing the data and getting real specific, but really the reason just comes down to really being specific. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you found the reason. It was you didn't have foot traffic. Okay, let's dive deep into that reason. Why didn't you have foot traffic? You
Like
know what?
data analyzing.
Yeah, exactly. And
We'll
really,
take
really,
a perspective.
yeah, and really diving into them analytics. You know what I'm saying? And finding ways to improve on the reason that it didn't work out. And then again, creating a plan based on your previous experience and data allows for a path forward where you can move with more confidence. When somebody has been through something or a challenging situation and they, you know, are able to, you know, gain some experience, you know, life experience, the next time they, you know, go at it, you go at it with a lot more confidence because like, you know, what to expect to a certain extent, right? Like when you know, when you're learning to ride a bike that very first time, it's probably, you know, real scary, right? Like you don't want your mom or your dad to let go of the handlebars. You need the training wheels because you're still trying to get a feel for it. But after you fall off a couple times, you know what I mean? It's not as scary no more because you know what the worst is, right? Like you have an idea and then you build up that confidence and then eventually you out there riding that bike, you know what I'm saying? And you don't even think about it no more. So it's really kind of that same concept. Like once you create a plan based on those previous experiences and data, you know, you actually got some analytics now. It's not just, you know, what I think may happen, but what actually happened. You know, the last time I tried to do this, you know, it builds that confidence. So that kind of sums up reason. And then the last part of that is route. You have direction to use. So now that you have the experience, you have the data, it's time to put it into action, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Knowledge is only as good as its implementation. So see your plan through and have a clear direction. So obviously, y'all know we talk about it all the time. I've been reading a lot, been reading. And one thing that was brought up in reading was like, you know, people who are, you know, very big on like school and knowledge and obtaining a whole lot of knowledge. But one thing that was kind of brought to my attention, which, you know, is very important, is the knowledge that you obtain is only as good as the implementation. Like learning stuff for the sake of learning stuff is kind of pointless. Like, you know what I mean? What are you going to do with the information? Like, unless you want to be a professional, you know it all or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but like, unless you can implement the knowledge that you have, it's kind of pointless, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you go through these challenges or failure, right, or opportunities, right, and you collect the data and you do the work, all of that is only as good as the implementation. As good as, you know what I mean, you putting all that knowledge and data, you know, into play, you know, and actually following through on it and not resorting back to what you were doing before. You know what I mean? What's up, Champagne? Welcome. So yeah, so making sure you have a clear route and direction and sticking to it, you know, very important. Then the other part of that is other challenges may present themselves, but learning from past experiences would allow you to adjust faster. So just because you failed once and you learned all this stuff, you've accumulated data, you know, you got a plan. That does not mean that you're not going to face challenges again down the road, right? But the fact that you've already been through challenges helps you to adjust and adapt faster because again, you can learn from those previous experiences. And then once you get to a certain part, you know, there's similarities in certain things. Like, oh, okay, I didn't deal with this specific situation, but this was kind of similar and this is how I dealt with it, which can help you, you know, put together a plan on how to move forward in the future. So just really in summary, what failing brings is results, reason, and route. You know, it gives you an opportunity to analyze why you failed, how you failed, to dive deep into those reasons, to collect some data and analytics that you then can apply, you know, to your new plan and direction and the route that you want to go moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So very important. failing, like I said, it's about mindset, you know. Failing is really opportunity, you know. Fail fast. I say it all the time. You know what I'm saying? The quicker you get started, the quicker you can move forward, good or bad. You got anything you want to add?
Nah, so one thing that I kind of recognize with the results, reason, and route is the idea that it's a proven cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many examples of people who have attempted something, failed at it. You know what I'm saying? As a result, they had the data. You know what I'm saying? And with the data that they had, they were able to see the details of it, and then go into a new direction. Like we were talking about earlier with with Apple or with Microsoft or your Fords or Walt Disney. Even man, if thinking about Jordan, with getting cut from his sophomore team or whatever like that. It's like
basketball,
yeah, his high school basketball team. So it's understanding that like this cycle is a cycle that exists. You know what I'm saying? It's something that everyone who attempts something and doesn't succeed at it in the first go round, it's the same cycle that everyone goes through, right? Like you go through something, you fail at it, now there's a result. Okay, with the result, that's the data. And you're looking at it, you're seeing all the intricacies and everything that was associated with that result that you had. And then you take a deep dive into the details of it. Then you understand the reasoning behind what happened. Like you said, maybe you didn't do something in this area. Maybe you didn't plan it correctly. Maybe you didn't strategize correctly. Or maybe you didn't say the right words or connect with the right people or whatever the case may be. But within that middle part with the reason, it really allows you to start beginning to strategize. You know what I'm saying? It really starts to allow you to take a different perspective on what it is that you're looking to achieve and what route you could potentially take. You know what I'm saying? And understanding like, okay, yeah, this path didn't work the first time. Now that I know the data and the details, okay, I'm gonna move this direction, which is the route, which is the last thing. Like you switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times when people are pursuing something, if they're stuck on doing the same thing the same way, like you said, bro, like it's like the definition of insanity. Like you can't expect to get a different result when you continue to do the same thing. But like the game of succeeding and having success is all about trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Try something, you fail at it. Okay, let me see what happened, what I need to do differently, right? And then I go back at it again. I switch things up. I may use 3 bolts this time instead of 2, or I may do whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you're looking to pursue. But it's understanding, like, man, like it's trial and error. And just because you fail at something the first time, like it's not the final. It's not like a stopping point. It's not the conclusion of what it is that you're looking to achieve. It's not the end. It's really the start. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, like failure is
no. It really is the start. And in my opinion, like a lot of people don't get started from fear of failure.
Right.
But the reality is, the quicker you fail, the quicker, you know what I mean? Like the quicker you can learn and go. Because like you said, the first thing you need to do is act, right? So get over the feel of failure and act. Do something. And don't be scared of failing. And in the event that you do fail or you don't see the success you want, analyze, make adjustments, act again. You know what I mean? And it's really just rinse and repeat, cycle after cycle. Just make sure you're learning from what's not working and making adjustments. You know what I mean? Like that's how you succeed. And like they said all the time, like people see success and, think it like came overnight, but not knowing that said individual failed, 100 times, you know what I mean? 1,000 times before that 1 ounce of success. But that little bit of success can be grand and can lead to, very, widespread opportunity and, financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, all from what was learned over the course of failing. And not everybody don't fail 100 times, you know what I mean? You may try something, you know, and get it right after a couple times, you know what I mean? But the number one, you know, requirement to succeed is action. Right. You know what I mean? And too many times, and most people fail to act. They sit on ideas, they talk about it, but no action. And it all really kind of comes down to that fear of failing. And it's almost like backwards. Like, okay, so you're not gonna act because you're scared of failing, but by not acting, you're still not making any progress. Where the reality is, if you actually start and you fail, you're further along than you were still.
You were without starting, yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So you still made progress. You know, you might not have got to where you wanted to be right out the gate, but progress was still made though. So
but yeah, at least now you know. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's really all I had on that one. So said, if you
want, bro. So the last thing that we wanted to discuss as it relates to learning from failure. Obviously, you know, a lot of times we want to talk about things that are tangible or things that you can specifically do, like things that you can immediately implement as it relates to learning from failure. So with this one, it's basically experience over exclusion. And like we just been saying throughout the live, even through failure, there's an experience that you gain, right? There's a part of that failure that gives you the opportunity to contextualize your story in a sense, right? Like a lot of times, and this is how I look at certain things when as it relates to failure, like you, especially when you're learning from it, it's tidbits of knowledge that you gain, not only to improve yourself, but with the opportunity of improving others.
Yeah, or helping.
Right? Or helping others. You know what I'm saying? And you can build off of that. So with experience is over exclusion. Like your failure doesn't exclude you from getting to the success or achieving the goal. No, it gives you the knowledge that you need in order to achieve the goal. And then at the same time, be able to help others along the way. But with that, with experience over exclusion, is two things. It's going to give you the experience to move on, and it's going to give you the experience to motivate others. And with the experience to move on, basically something that you can do immediately is create a habit of journaling your steps and always refer to them to keep you accountable. Like a lot of times when you begin to experience certain things and you're going through that building phase, or you're embracing just the idea of trial and error, write stuff down, journal it. I mean, it doesn't have to be, if you, the best thing to do is and get in as much detail as you can. You know, write how you felt, write certain steps that you took, write certain things that went wrong, certain things that went right. Like just have a diary in a sense.
And I think that's very important too. So like, you obviously convinced me to get a planner, right? Which I started off using it, but I've been slacking. Like,
yeah, you made a couple of attempts, but I ain't gonna judge you.
No. I need to get back. But with that being said, my point is saying that is even before I had a planner, I would write stuff down though.
Yeah.
Like important things. So like, because what happens is life, right? We're all busy, and sometimes we come up with ideas that you just naturally will forget. You know what I mean? Like as time, like you might come up with something that you want to do. You might have a good idea, something that, you know, could be beneficial. And then if you don't write it down, you try to be thinking like, damn, what was I thinking about earlier? Like I wanted to do something, like, and you just don't remember and you lose it, you know? So it's very important to journal, write things down. And I, you know, unless you're the type that got photographic memory or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, or you know, just crazy good memory. Most people are visual learners, you know. Correct. Like most people learn and remember things, you know, visually seeing it. And like also having the thought in your head is one thing, But when you actually write it down and
Put it on
you
paper.
see it and you can conceptualize it, it kind of sticks in your brain a little bit more. And, you can, have a better idea. It just done something to your brain. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever the hell type of doctor it is that got to do with your brain. But like I've read, that
Yeah.
writing it down,
It does. Yeah, it does.
it benefits you. It helps a lot. So yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%, man. Journaling, and whatever facet that is, or even if it's just a situation where you come up with a thought, you're thinking about something, you pull out your iPhone, pull up the notes app, and just put it in there, something that you can just reference later. You know what I mean? That's really the key. The key is to be able to reference it, to be able to go back to it.
Right. I got over 250 notes in my phone that I'm sitting on right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, it's putting it on paper, put it in your phone.
Yeah, in between like notes, man, I do a bunch of notes. I do screenshots. You know what I mean? Like I come across something because like I know I'd be forgetting. And I'm like crazy busy. So
that comes with age too.
Well, yeah, true. Well, hopefully them supplements I'm taking for memory. But yeah, no, 1,000%. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on the journaling piece.
Yes, sir. You can get the next one, bro. With your the faster you act.
Well, all right, well, cool. So yeah, so experience to move on. So the faster you act, the faster you can move on, good or bad, right? And obviously the title of this portion of the segment was experience to move on. So again, we talked about this, but I want to, really just dive into it even a little bit more. Experience to move on. So just think about it like this. A lot of people have these great ideas, but for whatever reason, they don't act on it, right? So say you sit on this idea for a year, right? No action. And then say you finally act on this idea a year later, doesn't go the way you want it. So, you got to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but then you figure it out. And then, now you're a year and a half in, 2 years into, what you wanted to do. And it's working out for you. If you would have started sooner, you could have had that experience to move on and got to where you was going quicker and would be further along, right? So it took you a year to get started, and then it took you another year and a half, 2 years, to see success. So that's 3 years of time where it could have took you, almost half of that if you would have just got started, So the whole mantra of fail fast, or act, which is the most important piece of success, of succeeding, is to act. You have to get started. You have to go after it, like period, point blank. You got to wake up, be motivated, believe in yourself. It's a mindset thing. Know that you will succeed. Take risk, calculated risk, not recklessness, right? And I read something that basically said risk was just lack of preparation, right? Mm-hmm. That's how they defined risk. Because if you are knowledgeable enough about something, then it's not really risky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There still may be a little element of risk because not too many people know everything about everything. When nobody knows everything about everything. But the more knowledge that you have, the less risky it becomes because you're educated in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, right? So educate yourself. Pick up a book. Books are powerful, man. Go to YouTube, do the research on whatever it is you're trying to do. And educate yourself enough where you can build up some of that confidence and take calculated risks, right? Exactly, but act, the number one important thing, you have to act, make it happen. But yeah, so the faster you act, the faster you can move on, good or bad. So obviously, the faster you act, if it worked out, great. You know what I mean? You wait a year and then it just worked out for you. Then you waited a year for no reason. You could have been successful a year ago. Or if you waited a year and it didn't work out how you wanted, but then you seen success, a little bit down the road again, you could have went through those bumps in the road a while ago and already recovered from it. You know what I mean? So yeah, there we go. I'll take the first one or the next one and let you finish it out. So the next little piece is experience to motivate others. And said, talked on this. your failures and sharing those failures with others and those around you allows you to motivate them, right? Especially when you look like them, when you share similarities, you know, when they see somebody maybe doing something that they see no one else doing, right? Like I use the example all the time, like growing up, you know, where I came from, I didn't know any software engineers, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't something that I can look up to and was like, I want to be that. Like later in life, I learned what that was and found you know, came across a cousin that you know, a second cousin of mine who, you know, did similar work and, you know, kind of was a mentor. But at that point I was already, you know, 18, 19 years old, you know what I mean? But share those experiences, you know, and then you can help some people not make the same mistakes you did and help them succeed faster, right? So share your challenges and how you overcame them. You know, don't just share the positive stuff. Don't just gloat and talk about how amazing you are and how good business is and you're so great, as if, you know, you didn't go through trials and tribulations and you didn't have to overcome some obstacles and tough times. You know what I mean? We all do. So share it, and it humanizes you. You know what I mean? Like you know, it allows. You know, I'm a firm believer in the law of averages and energy and all that crazy stuff, right? So the type of energy you putting out is the type of energy that'll be reciprocated. And if you know, and if you want to receive in abundance, you need to give in abundance. You know what I mean? You got to share you got to share the information. You gotta you know, be positive. You know what I mean? And speak that into other individuals. You know, like
Absolutely, bro.
Remove the negativity. You know, it follows you. You know, and it's really like a virus. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, share those challenges with others and how you overcame them, and you can definitely help them succeed in a fraction of the time that it took you. And then in return, you know, the knowledge and experience they gain, they can turn around and help you, you know, long term. And then, you know, you cultivate those relationships, and that's what true networking is all about. You know, like you help them, they help you. It may not be an immediate thing where they help you right away, or but, you know, down the road, just creating relationships. People remember what you did for them and how you treated them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if they're good people, you know, it'll come back to you, you know, tenfold. So yeah, so share your challenges and how you overcame. I'll let you take the last one.
Yep. And then that last one, man, be honest about your struggles as they can be seen as motivation to others. And so, like E just said, really humanizing yourself, and that was a good word that you used, bro, is beneficial. And understanding that the opportunities that you have to connect with other people can be limitless, right? And we say this all the time about, you know, how we view a lot of things in life, and it's very rare that you find people who, I won't say it's rare, but you know, when you find like-minded people that kind of
it's
think,
rare.
yeah, okay, it's rare. It's rare that you find like-minded people who kind of think on the same frequency as you. You know what I'm saying? And I know with me and you, like the super important things that we look at in life, like we align with those things. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what allows us to connect the way that we do. But understanding that, man, while we're here on earth and while we're living, like the more that we can learn and the more that we can share, and the more that we can share those things with being candid, with being transparent and humanizing ourselves, like it really goes a long way. And especially in this climate, in the time that we're living in right now, like there are so many people that have a lack of information, or don't have any insight or intel on certain things. And you may be that individual who can, you know, say something that resonates with them, or you could be the individual that they can relate to. But if you don't share the information, or if you are not very honest with your experiences and what you've gone through, it's challenging for an individual to connect with you, because they don't see their reflection in you. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding that when you approach certain things, and when you're doing it with honesty, when you're doing it with good intentions, you know what I'm saying? And when you're doing it with the heart of compassion, and you're really wanting to serve people through your story and through your experiences, that's what being beneficial is all about. You know what I'm saying? It takes everything that you experienced as you were going through that process of achieving success, going towards your goals, reaching those milestones. It contextualizes those things in a story form that allows you to connect with other people. You know what I'm saying? And through reading and just through my interest in stories and how you contextualize things and how you conceptualize things, like it puts a different perspective on how life can be viewed. You know what I'm saying? Because we all live in our own individual, unique stories day by day. Like we all experience things differently. You know what I'm saying? And through those experiences, that just adds more context to our story. That allows us to see things, hear things, experience things, and through that, you can motivate others. You know what I'm saying? You take those things and you go and you tell somebody else, like, hey, you know, this is how I got through this. So if they ask you a question, you're able to give them the answer. That's why there's the importance of journaling. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're journaling things, it allows you to retain that information a lot longer, or it gives you something to refer to. So when somebody asks you a question, you know, you got the answer for them. You can help them out with that, or you can lead them in the right direction. So, you know, understanding, like when you're honest, when you're being transparent, when you're being candid, when you have good intentions, when you have a pure heart, when you have compassion, you know, all of those things, it definitely allows you to connect with people. It humanizes you. And when you're humanized and somebody can connect with you, that's where the influence comes in at. You know, like what we talked about last week with living a legacy. You know what I'm saying? And the influence that you can have on people. Like being humanistic and really valuing relationships and really just valuing the process of trial and error and embracing failing fast. You know what I'm saying? That really allows you to connect with people on a different level, man, and influence them in a positive way, and allows you to build your legacy. But most importantly, it, like you said, bro, it helps them. They learn something new. Like that time that it took you, you can shorten that process for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And why not do that? Like it ain't no threat to you just because you giving them game or you giving them information, especially if they seeking it, and you can see that they're really trying and giving an effort. Man, we're all here, put here to serve people, help out in any way that you can. If you got the information, you got the knowledge, don't be stingy with it. Share it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, that's really all I got on that aspect when it comes to learning from failure, man. But also with motivating others.
Yeah, no, man. I think you made a lot of very good points, man. And yeah, I don't really got too much more to add, to be real with you. Um, so yeah, failure. You know what I mean? I think in a nutshell, I said it earlier, but failure is opportunity. You know what I mean? If I was to sum it all up, failure creates opportunity. You know, to better yourself and really to move forward. It's not, you know, end of the road. You don't hit a dead end because you failed. It's not all over. It's really kind of like the new beginning. It's the next chapter. You know what I mean? Okay, this didn't work out. Chapter 1's over. Let me start chapter 2. I can take everything I learned from chapter 1 now and apply it. So this one's gonna be a lot more interesting. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so we didn't say it earlier in the episode, but anybody who rocks with us on a consistent basis, y'all know, check out the link in the bio, where we have the kit. You know, so this is learning from failures kit, where, you know, it kind of goes over the bullet points and everything that we talked about, high level stuff, and then the recommendations, which there's a few good books in there. Power Broke by Damon Johnson, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, and Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn by John Maxwell. I'm pretty sure Sid read every single one of them books.
Two and a half.
2.5. Okay.
The John C. Maxwell one was a half. I didn't read the full version of it, but I read half of it though, so that still count. I know
Yeah.
a little bit.
But yeah, I'm sure solid books. I haven't had an opportunity to read those three, but they probably will be ones that I'll read down the road. But and again, man, everybody who tapped in, everybody will go back and watch this video, man. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the birthday wishes. Again, we're 18 episodes in. every week, that's a milestone to me, man. Welcome, Isabel.
Bro.
But yeah, every week is a milestone to me and us, you know, another week of consistency, you know. So you know, what is that? 4, 8, 12, 16. So what? 4.5 weeks. Is that what that? 4, 8. Yeah, that's or no. Yeah.
Something like that. 4.5.
Something. I didn't lie, you know what I mean?
A
But
lot,
we've
a
been
lot
doing
of
it for a
months and
little
not
minute
days,
now.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
We've been doing it for a little minute now, man, and we provide a lot of value. And I know we keep telling y'all we got a lot of stuff coming, but we really do got a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of planning and preparation and stuff that go into all this stuff. And when we do it, we want to make sure that we do it right. But again, we got to act. You know, we got to practice what we preach. You know what I'm saying? And we got to act. And there's a couple of things we probably been dragging our feet on a little bit that we need to do. But we working. Just know that we definitely working.
exactly.
So hey, with all that said, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough.
Keep it thorough.
We out of here.
Be beneficial.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with a real good topic for y'all. We'll holler at y'all then. Deuces.
All right, for sure.